Hello everybody, my name is Thunder, and today I'm going to be presenting my top 10 JDM cars currently in Grand Theft Auto 5. Now please keep in mind that this is my personal opinion, so if there's a car that isn't in this list that you think should be, deal with it. Uh, I have also included some clips of the real life counterparts to the cars, so if you see any videos that look cool, check the description. I'll link to all those channels down below. Without any further delay, let's just get right into this list. Now, before we get into the actual top 10 list, I just have a couple honorable mentions here. First off being the Karen Kuruma and Karen Kuruma Armored, based off the Lancer Evo 10. It's just a really good car, especially the armored version for the overworld. You know, it's got armor, 4 seats, really good for heisting, new players, all that sort of stuff. Definitely thought it was worth a mention on this list. The other car I've got here is the Annis Euros, based off the Nissan 370. The reason the 370 hasn't made it onto the list is just it's lacking some of those key modifications that I was expecting to see, like chassis mounted wings, crazy fender arches, especially because it's one of the newer cars, the tuner cars. Thought it would have some of those crazy mods that you can see people putting on their 370s and 350s in real world. And I was left disappointed when I bought it, so for that reason I haven't actually put it into the top 10 list. But it is a very good car still. Now, starting off our list at number 10, we have the Annis Apocalypse ZR380. This is based off of the Nissan 350Z in real life. The car actually has two other variants besides the Apocalypse, the Future Shock and Nightmare. Personally recommend the Apocalypse myself if you want that nice clean look. And because it's an arena war vehicle, you can have like nitrous, jump boost, mines, I think machine guns, saw blades, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. You just need an arena workshop to modify those. Overall, the customization's okay if you want a clean 350, as I said. If you want to go for some crazy, Borderlands type whatever, Mad Max, then there's loads of customization for you. In terms of acceleration, it's decent. It does have nitrous, which makes it super good. Same with top speed, pretty good. And with boost, it's actually one of the fastest cars in the game, although it's non-raceable, only good in the overworld. And in terms of handling, it's good at lower speeds. It is really oversteery with the rear-wheel drive, so at high speeds, it's a little harder to control for sure. And the reason I've actually put this car on the list instead of the Annis is because it has those extra customizations I was talking about. The super wide arches, the chassis mounted wings, all this crazy stuff that the 350 pulls off that no other car can. And I really like the vehicle. Again, super quick car, super good for getting around, and it is armored, just like the Kuruma, so it's a really great practical vehicle. And that's it for the 350Z. And coming in at number 9, we have the Karen 190Z, which is based on a cross between the Datsun 240Z and Datsun 280Z. Now the customization's decent. Unfortunately, the wheel arches that you can equip, which are, iconic Datsun modification, the wheels don't fill in the arch, so you're left with really bad fitment, so you can't really use them if you want your car to look good. And the taillights on the car don't really match either of the Datsuns, but other than that, again, decent customization. It's pretty quick acceleration, but the top speed is pretty low, all things considered, especially compared to the other cars on this list. But the handling, that's the bee's knees on this car. It's very good, very good. I'd say it's almost perfectly balanced. It understeers just like the slightest amount, but it's like right on the money there. They got it just right. It's super good. It almost reminds me of driving the Schlagen GT, which, if anyone has driven that, that's a really fun car to drive. I would actually recommend giving this car a shot. It's something like 900K or something. So if you got the money, definitely worth picking up. And that's it for the Datsun. And coming in at number 8, we have the Pfister Comet Retro Custom. And I know what you're thinking, Porsches and JDM, but hear me out. Talking about the RWBs, for those of you who don't know, RWB is a Japanese Porsche tuning company, and they make very distinct Porsches. If you lined up like 30 Porsches, you could just point that one, and that one are RWB. They're super distinct. The only thing they don't have is custom VIN plates or new VIN plates like some other reproduction companies have. If they did, they'd technically classify as a JDM, so that's why it's on this list. Now, RWB Porsches are commonly built with Porsche 930s and 993s. They do use other platforms, but those are the most common ones. The customization on this is really good because it's a Benny's car. If you want it to style as an RWB, which for this list you do, you're a little limited, but it's still pretty good. You know, car's very good acceleration, very good top speed, and the handling's very good as well. It's oversteers just a touch, but it's super manageable. Honestly, just another really great car to drive. And that's it for the RWB Porsche. Now, coming in at number 7, we have the Annis ZR350, which is based on the Mazda RX-7 FD. This car has good customization, it's got some good acceleration. Top speed's okay. It's like a good top speed when you're in the city. When you're on the highway, it's a little slow. The handling's pretty good. It's got some good grip, but it's still easy to break the tires loose. Definitely a good drift vehicle. And one nice thing about this car is the idle and exhaust pops definitely remind me of the sound of the Wankel rotary engine. Although the regular running sound is, I think it's a reused sound, it's not anything special, unfortunately. But overall, it's still a really nice car. It does have some of that rotary feel. They even modeled the rotary engine inside of the engine bay, so big props. And that is it for the RX-7. Now at number 6 we have the Dinka Jester Classic, which is based on the Toyota A80 Supra, or the Mark IV Supra as it's more commonly known. It's got some decent customization, although not a lot of variation. It's more like put a hood on it, put a wing on it, maybe an under tray, some wheels, that's about it. But a good amount of those are available. It's got some good acceleration, pretty good top speed actually. And very great handling. It's super balanced. I think of all the cars on the list, it's actually the best value for money as well. You can buy it for, I think it was 800K, something like that, and the performance you get is actually really good. Definitely worth picking up if you're on a budget, or if you like the Mark IV, obviously. And that is it for the Toyota Supra. Now coming in at number 5, we actually have two cars, the Karen Sultan Classic and Karen Sultan Classic RS, both based on a cross between the Subaru Impreza GC8 and the 22B. Now there's a few differences between these cars. First one's the price, about $80,000 to $100,000 for the Sultan RS, costing that $100,000 more. The Sultan RS, Classic RS, sorry, also has 2 doors instead of 4, but it has the wider, kind of more rally-style arches of the 22B. Whereas the regular Sultan Classic has the 4 doors, more akin to the GC8. They both have really good customization, almost the same customization between the two. Both really good acceleration and top speed. They both handle quite good as well, all-wheel drive obviously, but at top speeds it's almost like they transition more to a rear-wheel drive car, making them a little oversteery, a little harder to control, unfortunately, but still super good with that all-wheel drive, especially off-road. I was going to put these two separate, but they're just so similar, it felt wrong to knock another car off this list just to have almost the same car twice. And that is it for the Subaru Imprezas. At number 4, we have the Dinka Jester RR, which is based off the Toyota A90 Supra, or the Mark V. The customization on this car is very good. The base car itself, minus the nose, is very faithful to the actual Mark V Supra, and a lot of the mods are actual aftermarket mods in the real world, like the Street Hunter wings and whatnot, which is super cool to see. Performance-wise, it's almost the same as the Jester Classic. Good acceleration, good top speed, really great handling. It does swing just a little wider around corners than the Jester Classic, but very comparable for sure. It also has a unique startup sound, which is very cool. I may have put this car a little higher on the list than it should have, and maybe should have been with the Jester Classic, but I have a little bias towards this car. I was thinking of buying one at one point. I'm a very big fan of the Mark V. It grew on me a lot. Didn't like it at first, but I like it a lot now, and it's great to see it performing very well in game as a very, very usable car. And that's it for the Toyota Supra. Now, coming in at number 3, we have the Emperor Vector, which is based off the Lexus LC500. The customization on this car is very good. It's a very good acceleration, very good top speed, and very good handling. It's another one of those cars that's super balanced. I actually don't have anything else written here because it's so good at everything. There's not much else to say other than it's a fantastic car. And a nice bonus is it actually has the same crackly exhaust as the Komoda, or the jugular. It has that when you let off the gas, just bangs and pops, and I find myself letting off the gas almost as much as I'm accelerating when I'm driving this car. Just super good car. I this is like, if you want a car that's good to drive, this is the one. This is the car that you should get. Uh, that's yeah. I could go on, but that's all I've got for the Lexus LC500. And coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Annis Elegy Retro Custom, which is based on the Nissan Skyline R33 GTR. Now the customization, as always, as it's a Benny's car, is very good. You can actually make it look a lot like the R32 GTR using some of those customizations as well. Just like the Jester Classic, good acceleration, very good top speed, very good handling. This is arguably even easier to control than the Jester. It's just a fantastic car. I may have put this car a little higher on the list as well than it should have been, just like the Mark V Supra. I do have a bias to this car as well, because I actually do own my own R34 Skyline in real life. So I had to hold myself back from putting it at the number 1 spot, because I know deep down it's not actually the best. But that's it for the Nissan Skyline. And finally at number 1, we have the Karin Sultan RS. Which is a cross between the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5 and the Lexus ISs, the first generations. Customization on this car, maybe even, dare I say, the best car to customize in the game. It's got so many different mods, and they all make the car look so different. You can really make this car look rally or street or drift or whatever. It's got the customization to do it. Performance-wise, acceleration, top speed, they're okay. It's actually, unlike the rest of the cars on the list, in the supers category, and it's, I think, like one of the worst. It's like bottom 5 worst cars in the supers class, actually. But you're not buying it for the performance, you're buying it for the style and the handling, because the handling is fantastic on this car, and the sound on this car too is just fantastic. I love this thing. It's been in the game forever, and it's just, yeah, it's just a really great car. I'm sure not too many of you are surprised that this car made it to at least the top 3. And that concludes my top 10 list here. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If there's any cars that weren't on the list that you thought should have been, leave a comment. I know there's no Hondas on here, but I'm not big on most Hondas. I do like the old NSXs, but the only NSX in this game is the Jester, and that's like the new modern European looking Jester, or European looking NSX, so I didn't really want to put it on this list. Maybe they'll add it in future, that'd be nice. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day. Peace.